Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, December 5th. It looks like a very interesting month of December is shaping up for much of the nation. A more active weather pattern will develop in the central and eastern part of the U.S. beginning this weekend and going right through the remainder of the month of December. We certainly have some cold air outbreaks, and the big weather player will be this high latitude blocking that sets up over Greenland. It's already getting underway right now over Greenland, Hudson Bay region of Canada, and it will stay in place. Once it kicks into gear, it'll stay in place for a few weeks, and this could be a few weeks of some wild weather across the central and eastern part of the nation, going right through Christmas season, and many areas may end up with a white Christmas, even more so than normal across the nation. This is an interesting forecast from the ensemble run of the European model. I want to kind of focus in on the ensemble run of the European model from last night, because it seems to have a pretty good handle on the way I think this will evolve. And this is very interesting to start off with because it's an average over the 10-day period from December 10th to December 20th, and quite an impressive signal here for high latitude blocking. Again, this is from last night's ensemble run of the European model, and this is an average for a 10-day period. And when you see an average over a 10-day period of these 500 millibar height anomalies, that is a strong signal for a negative NAO, a high latitude blocking scenario. This is Greenland right here, Hudson Bay region of Canada right here, and this is where higher heights, higher pressures than normal will be forming and persisting for 2 or 3 weeks at least through much of the remainder of December once this thing kicks into gear. And again, this is a forecast for the average of the 10-day period between the 10th of December and the 20th. Notice also upper level troughing now extending across much of the nation at this particular time, and this kind of a pattern is certainly a volatile pattern. It's an active type of weather pattern, and it assures multiple cold air outbreaks into the central and eastern part of the nation. Again, beginning in about 5 days or so, let's say from December 10th onwards through the remainder of the month of December. The next few days rather tranquil, still kind of mild in much of the eastern part of the nation, but the overall pattern starts to change for the eastern U.S., let's say Friday, Saturday, and beyond, going through December. Well, let's take a look at a few teleconnection indices. We've been focusing on the North Atlantic Oscillation, the Arctic Oscillation. This comes from last night's run of the ensemble version of the European model, and it's for the PNA, the Pacific North America pattern. When this thing moves towards neutral or even positive this time of the year, it generally is correlated well with high pressure ridging across western U.S., western Canada, and that is a combination with a negative NAO that allows for the transport of cold Canadian air masses from way up in Canada south and east into the central and eastern U.S. And here we go all the way to about the 20th of December, and we have a couple different trends here. One is for the control run, one is for what we call the mean run, but both of which, bottom line here is the European model, the ensemble version definitely has an upward trend to the PNA, to neutral or even positive territory by the time we get to the middle part of December. This ending period here on this particular forecast plot is December 20th. So again, a positive PNA, certainly a positive direction for the PNA. It goes towards neutral, even into positive territory. Again, that generally is well correlated with a high pressure ridge, western U.S., western Canada, a key player for a colder and snowier pattern for the central and eastern U.S. Well, what about the Arctic Oscillation and the North Atlantic Oscillation? Let's take a look at those, and this is from the ensemble run of the GFS. Already well down in negative territory for the Arctic Oscillation right here. The black represents observations, the red forecast. We go all the way out to about December 20th and staying in that whole time frame well below the zero line, the neutral line, deep into negative territory again. Once this NAO, once this high latitude blocking sets up over Greenland, Hudson Bay region of Canada, it looks like it'll stick around for at least 2 or 3 weeks, and that almost assures a colder, stormier weather pattern for much of the central and eastern part of the nation. Again, the Pacific Ocean plays an important role as well, and that Pacific North American index, the PNA as we call it, plays a complementary role here to leading towards a colder and stormier weather pattern for the central and eastern U.S. again from around December 10th or 11th onwards through the middle and latter part of December. Well, similar to the Arctic Oscillation, its closely related cousin, the North Atlantic Oscillation, is in negative territory right now, and it looks like it'll stay down in negative territory going to at least December 20th or so. Again, once this kind of a strong pattern develops over Greenland, Iceland, northeastern Canada, it tends to stick around for a few weeks. In this particular case, this is a stronger signal that we've seen in many, many years for the month of December, and it almost assuredly will stick around well into the month of December, into the end of the month of December. And again, that helps with the transportation of cold air masses, colder than normal air masses, from way up in Canada, south and east into the central and eastern part of the nation. You combine that with a positive PNA, and you have a stormy pattern as well that will set up. That'll look like there will be multiple storm threats from this weekend on. And of course we'll have to work at the details with each and every one of those, but the bottom line is a stormier and colder weather pattern is certainly setting up, thanks in large part to this very significant high latitude blocking pattern that will form over the next couple of days. Well, let's wrap up by going through last night's ensemble run of the European model. These maps from tropicaltidbits.com. It's a 0Z, last night's run of, again, the ensemble version here. First of all, we're looking at 500 millibar height anomalies. And when you see purple, you're way off the charts for way, way above normal for heights, for pressure. This is Greenland right here. This is the Hudson Bay region of Canada right here. And you have just a tremendous blocking pattern, higher heights than normal, higher pressures than normal already in place over Greenland, and it looks like that'll stick around for the next few weeks. Other players right now ridging over the northeastern part of the nation as represented on this particular type of map with the orange here, and extending down across the south central part of the nation. But let's just move forward here and watch this pattern. Again, purple is way at the top of the legend here for way above normal heights over Greenland. Now, as you go forward in time with an ensemble run, it tends to smooth things out. Climatology tends to help to smooth things out. So you won't see purples in a week or two on an ensemble run, but we will still see, and we'll see this in a moment here, very, very strong signal for the next couple of weeks. Let's keep moving forward here. Again, strong ridging showing up here. Higher heights than normal across the eastern part of the nation. This is the middle of this week, and we could have 60-degree highs on Wednesday afternoon in D.C., maybe even Philadelphia as well. But watch how this changes over the next couple of weeks here. This stays the same, though. Look at that. It may shift a little bit in position, maybe retrograde a little bit to the south and west, but here we are now by this Friday, still very, very anomalous pattern here over Greenland with that high latitude blocking. And now notice this strong upper level trough setting up over the Atlantic Ocean. It tends to retrograde or move westward, expand westward towards the U.S. East Coast, and it kind of goes back and forth a little bit. But watch what evolves here as we get into a week from now. This is now next Monday, December 12th. Still very, very strong signal now, 180 hours out, 7 days away here for high latitude blocking again over Hudson Bay, Greenland. And look at this trough trying to extend all the way and connect to a western U.S. trough here, and that is a kind of a stormy signal here with the deep upper level low here. For example, by the time we get the middle part of next week, there have been pretty consistent signals for potential storms in the eastern part of the nation. Let's say early this weekend, let's say early next week, Monday the 12th, and then again Wednesday the 14th. That's this particular system right here. So at least 2 or 3 threats coming up beginning this weekend, and again moving on here. But look at this, still by the middle of next week, still a very, very strong signal when you see this kind of bright orange going out almost a week and a half in advance here on an ensemble run. That's a very strong signal here. Upper level low right here in the eastern part of the nation. Again, watch out for the potential of a storm in the east. The middle of next week, we're talking about Wednesday the 14th or so. And let's just keep moving forward here. And again, we saw that average from the 10th to the 20th. We're now on the 17th. And look at this, very impressive here, going all the way out to this particular time frame. This is 2 weeks from today. Still seeing above normal heights on a smoothed out ensemble run 2 weeks out. This is a very, very strong signal to see this in the general same location here. Again, once this high latitude blocking sets up, it's typically a slow moving or stationary type of pattern. That's why we call it a blocking pattern. In this particular case, it's very strong, and it looks like it'll be very persistent for a few weeks. And here we have a deep upper level low situated in the middle part of the nation. Again, this is 2 weeks from today. We're talking about the 19th or so. So again, the overall weather pattern becomes stormier, becomes colder than what we're experiencing right now in much of the central and eastern U.S. And really that stormier, more colder weather pattern kicks into gear this weekend. Let's say the 10th, 11th or so, and thereafter going into the middle of next week and even the following week, and probably right into Christmas week as well. So a very interesting weather pattern continues to evolve for much of the nation for much of the month of December. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.